Digimon Ghost Game episode 27 brought back BlackTailmon, the series' Amazon delivery driver who seems to carry packages and Digimon back and forth between the human and digital worlds. BlackTailmon was the first big mystery of the series and has been absent for a number of weeks, so it was a great reminder to have this character appear, and not only appear but also act as a bridge between Hiro and his father by delivering a special letter, which we'll talk more about after the recap. Besides that, this was a very Monster of the Week episode with Splashmon entering people's homes and dorms through the pipes and then kidnapping them and transforming them into water. There was an undeniable creepiness to Splashmon, and there were a few admirable elements in this episode, like Hiro investigating urban legends online and coming to realize how many of those urban legends are related to Digimon. And while this episode wasn't necessarily bad, I think at the time of making this video, I'm gonna say episode 27 is my least favorite episode of Digimon Ghost Game. Now, if you loved it, I'm super happy for you, but as for why it's my least favorite, I'll definitely explain in the video. Welcome to the Digino, where we talk Digimon Ghost Game and other Digimon news every single week. We just crossed 25,000 subscribers, and I'm so grateful for that. I think last May I had 10,000 subscribers on this channel, and that was a dream come true, so the fact we've more than doubled this community is amazing. Thank you. And if you haven't already subscribed but you watch all the time, please subscribe just to help us get one step closer to 30,000 Digidestin. Episode 27 begins with Hiro, Kiyoshiro, and their Digimon reviewing urban legends online, noting how many so far have been tied to Digimon. I dug this scene, and reading ghost stories online with your friends while one of you hides under the blankets reminds me of those stupid sleepovers in middle school and high school, and I like seeing the team bond in this way that's not always action. They come across the story of people who fear water and how they're disappearing, and all that's left of them is a puddle of water where they last stood. Shortly thereafter, we see a girl who hears droplets. She's trying to turn off the sink when a flood of water comes through and attacks her. The water takes on this super creepy anthropomorphic form before revealing itself to be not just a water ghost, but the Digimon Splashmon. He turns the student into a ball of water and says, "This is my material." Hiro and Gabumon try but fail to stop Splashmon, who gets away with the ball of water, who was once a girl from Hiro's school, though a little droplet is left behind which Hiro puts into a water bottle. Angormon says he's never heard of a Splashmon turning humans into water and wants to know what he's planning. We then shift perspectives again to Splashmon, who explains to the audience his plan. It's that beauty serum made from humans will make him shine, like make his skin shine, but the girl is not enough. He needs more humans to increase the quality of the serum to be as beautiful as possible. It's fine, I guess. It's the least interesting of the Ghost Game Villain of the Week motivations I've heard so far. We've had Digimon yearning for friends, Digimon desperately trying to get home, Digimon wanting to take over the world, so a Digimon wanting to have nicer skin falls kind of flat for me. I'm sure there's something to be said here about vanity and beauty standards, but if they tried to make a statement on that, it didn't really come across. We don't get enough of Splashmon to feel any kind of sympathy for this digital monster, and the motivation just ends up feeling like a justification for the conflict with our team in the third act. You guys know I don't like being overly negative, but I don't have much positive to say about this Splashmon motivation. Like I mentioned, Hiro kept a small sample of the girl who turned into water. She's like a bit of a separated symbiote from Venom's suit in the Spider-Man universe or something like that, and points the team towards Splashmon since this droplet presumably wants to reconnect with the rest of herself, that water ball Splashmon is carrying around. There is a genuinely creepy visual here with Splashmon draining water from the aquarium and with this fish flopping around desperate for water, but still no confrontation in this location, not until we catch up with Splashmon on a cruise ship in the harbor front. He definitely has the home field advantage here. Just before we head into the climax of the episode, and just before my final thoughts, let's take a break so the sponsor of today's video can say hello. Buyee is an amazing service for anime and game fans living outside of Japan looking to get their hands on Japan exclusive merch. They're a proxy shipping service, which means you can sign up, tell them your address, then you shop on Japanese retailers like Rakuten, Amazon JP, the Yahoo auction site, and when you found your dream item, maybe you're like me, you wanted Digivice Vital Bracelet or a Wargreymon figure or something like that, you tell them you want to buy it, and essentially they purchase it on your behalf and send it to you wherever you are. When you sign up for Buyee for the first time using the Digino's link in the video description, you're going to get a 2,000 yen coupon, roughly $20 US off your first order. Thank you to Buyee for sponsoring the video. I used it. I used Buyee for my Digivice Vital Bracelet, just like what they wear in the show, and it's legitimately one of my favorite Digimon products, maybe ever. So check them out for sure, and let me know what you order by tweeting me a picture at the Digino. Splashmon also explains here that the more scared a human is, the higher quality the beauty serum, and so Hiro not being scared means he'd be a low quality serum. This is a problem for Splashmon, and he starts systematically hunting them down to try and freak them out as much as possible. The three champions show up and they go after Splashmon, but Battle Gamamon is caught and turned into a ball of water even before the three can really team up. Then it's Tesla Jellymon taken out, leaving just Jimba, Angormon, and the humans. Hiro tries to find a solution by remembering everything he read about the urban legend and comes up with the idea to use Ruli's Vital Bracelet Digivice, and they they used the snow field AR field thing on her dim card to freeze the pipes and water sources so that Splashmon can't hide in them. It is pretty clever, but not mind-blowing and not really hype-inducing necessarily. Jinba Angoramon fires off like a wind tunnel. Kirishiro then explains, quote, "You sap away heat with a cold wind, that's quick freezing." Splashmon's body is then frozen and all of the humans come back. They comment that they're still in trouble once Splashmon melts/dethaws, and they ask themselves what to do, which is exactly when BlackTailmon Uver/BlackGatomon shows up with a sleigh, kind of like Santa Claus, and just kind of takes Splashmon away back to the digital world. Before BlackTailmon goes though, Hiro asks if he can do a favor, if he can give a letter to his dad. Here's the full exchange. Quote, "Hold on, could you give this to my dad?" The letter says to Hokuto Amanokawa, "Really, what is that?" Hiro, "I wrote a letter just in case." BlackTailmon takes it and abruptly leaves. Unfortunately, we don't get to read what the letter said, and we didn't even see Hiro writing it earlier in the episode, so while I'm glad this scene exists in the episode and gave us something to speculate on and really chew on, there wasn't much here. And it was kind of odd how BlackTailmon was in and out, which is something I'll touch on again right after the recap in my review/thoughts. Angoramon ends the episode shortly after with one of his little outro poems. Quote, "Beauty is in the air, be as it may, dewy skin is short-lived like the fleeting water drop, I guess." And by the way, I guess was not me adding that. That was actually part of his quote. I have to admit, I laughed out loud at the I guess because I thought that encapsulated a lot of this episode. Even Angoramon at the end was like, I don't know, something about droplets, fleeting beauty, I guess, question mark. I'll be honest, I think this was my least favorite episode of Ghost Game only because I think there was absolutely nothing in this episode that hadn't already been done in previous episodes. It was very formulaic and by the numbers for Ghost Game, kind of the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality gone wrong, in my opinion. It's one thing to sit here and say I want the story to really get moving, and while I do want that, I'm also pretty forgiving when the episodic stuff is unique and thought-provoking, like last week with Digitamon turning on us, or the really dark one a few weeks ago with Agitarmon wanting to be in like a relationship with a human basically. But this episode gave me nothing meaningful to really chew on, nothing to feel clever about or to applaud the writers for. They didn't really set up the Splashmon urban legend solution at the end with freezing in such a way that you as an audience could have guessed how Hiro should defeat him, and the only thing close to consequential was Hiro giving his dad a letter at the end, but it was completely out of nowhere. It would have been nice if we got to see what he wrote. It also was pretty unfortunate to use BlackTailmon in this get out of jail free card context. It really was that. Like, we had sort of defeated this enemy but not permanently, and we didn't have a long-term solution, so BlackTailmon just showed up and took the bad guy away for us. Another disappointing element of this week is that last week's episode left Angoramon in a very dark place after he was forced to fight and eventually destroy one of his oldest friends after being betrayed. He was so devastated by that episode that really had to deliver the outro poem at the end of the week. And since we know the ultimate of Angoramon is kind of this dark, rage-looking monster form, some folks in my comments were sharing all these great ideas about how maybe we were about to see a traumatized Angoramon and that would lead into the Rage Ultimate, but that really wasn't the case. Angoramon was basically back to normal here, and that's a shame. We kind of want to see the emotion carry over from week to week. It kind of feels like the writers on this episode themselves knew how inconsequential this episode was, and then threw in that BlackTailmon thing just at the end to kind of appease people like me, so that we can now say, well, technically something happened in this one. Like, thank goodness for that scene, because if that BlackTailmon scene didn't happen, there would have just been nothing here. Look, I'm not mad at the show, and this isn't like, you know, I'm officially worried for Digimon Ghost Game, but I think this is my least favorite episode of the series. And that's not the end of the world. Just like you can have a favorite episode, it's inevitable that one episode will be your least favorite. I just hope things don't get any worse than this, or continue to be this formulaic, because then I'd be very concerned and very disappointed. But what did you folks think? Am I completely in the wrong? Is this an amazing episode and I woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something? I don't think I'm being overly critical or overly cynical, but if this was a great episode from your point of view, feel free to let me know by leaving a comment and explaining your opinion. Do you think Hiro's letter said anything super meaningful, or was it just kind of a "hi dad, miss you, here's what we've been up to" kind of thing? Like, will the letter come back in any meaningful way or not? Will Hiro's dad write back, and will BlackTailmon deliver the reply? Let me know. Thanks for watching the review, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.